As the world was being convinced that gasoline-powered vehicles were a thing of the past and that electric vehicles would replace them, and our dependency on oil companies and energy companies would be diminished, Europe in particular gave up on fracking and gave up on oil exploration and became more dependent on Vladimir and Russia for their energy needs, as illustrated in this chart here. That has now turned out to be a mistake. Vladimir has seized on this mistake, which has resulted in the invasion of Ukraine and putting the energy needs of the citizens of UK and Europe in jeopardy. I believe this presents an investment opportunity if you understand what is going on.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
Okay, so if we accept the premise that there was a mistake made in Europe and the Europeans are going to have to suffer through this winter and Vladimir's pressure, how can we make money on it? Well, I think we need to recognize that the world is going to change its attitude towards fossil fuels, and they're here to stay, because it's not only electric vehicles that Elon and others are going to bring us. We have as a result of the globalization over the last 40 years, we have a third world that is coming into the world, and their demands for energy are going to increase. And in fact, it's estimated that the demands for fossil fuels and energy are going to increase by 50% between now and 2050. We have to look at the oil companies differently and say they're in control. They're truly in the catbird seat. They have, as a result of political pressures and restrictions and regulation, they have been put into a place where their amount that they can produce is limited, which then, because demand is going up, increases the prices. Just take a look at these four oil stocks that I have looked at: Chevron, Occidental Petroleum, Exxon, and XLE, which is the ETF which I am buying, that is in the energy sector. And I did a whole video yesterday on it that you need to watch. So oil is in a part in our future. And again, I want to share you the chart that I showed you in the introduction, that the dependency on oil by UK and Europe has just increased in direct correlation with all the fervor about electric vehicles. Well, this is going to change, and we as investors need to recognize that change and put our money behind that change. So the next question I had was, who are the players? And if I want to get beyond the Exxon Mobil and the Occidental Petroleum and the Chevron and my ETF XLE, who else do I want to look at? So I put together this chart of who are the major players in the fracking world in the counties in Texas and New Mexico. And here are the names that I've come up with. Now, a lot of these are new names to me, so I'm going to reach out to you and ask you to do some of your due diligence and your research, and I'm going to ask you to come to our Discord. It's where our tribe meets. It's where we exchange information. What I learn, I share with my tribe members, and what I'm going to ask, if this is an opportunity that you want to take advantage of, put in a little work, okay? And come join our tribe. We beyond this element, we also do swing trading, and we have a course there where we'll teach you to do that. We also subscribe to some of the best predictors or gurus in the stock market, and we make that available to you as well. Now, do we charge for it? Yeah, it's going to cost me somewhere in the neighborhood of $120,000 this year to put this program together of working together in the tribe. So we share that. at the rate of about $60 a month. Go to the link on the Discord. Take a look in the description. Take a look at what our offerings are and see if you wouldn't like to work with a community that doesn't get all hung up on interest rates and inflation, because that's a reality. That's here. We're going to have to deal with it. But what this is change. And that's what in yesterday's video, I shared with you. I had a conversation with Jim Rogers, and a noted investor, and he made the statement, Kerry, to make big money, you got to be ahead of the change. You got to recognize the undervalued assets. And you're probably right now asking yourself, are you telling me that you think Chevron and Exxon and Occidental Petroleum and XLE are undervalued? Yeah, I do. Because, again, recognize Europe has to change. They can't go through 2 winters this way. They can't. Their gas bill, as I showed you yesterday, is 10 times my gas bill and your gas bill. 10 times. And it's because they didn't frack. Okay? It's an ugly word. Frack it. But that's what needs to happen in Europe, and that change is going to be facilitated by the companies that know how to do it, who have been doing it for the last 10 years and can come out and bail out Europe. And I think these 4 are possibilities. And then, again, look at the list as to who's doing it in Texas and New Mexico, and let's find who else we want to be a part of and work together to do that. Okay, that's my commitment to you. I will work to find the areas of change that will give us the opportunities to make money in what I think is going to be otherwise a down stock market for at least the next 6 months. We've got a lot of crap we've got to dig our way through before things go right. I mean, interest rates are going to go to 9 or 10% on a 30-year mortgage. That is going to devastate the real estate industry. It's going to devastate the junk bond industry. All those SPACs that you invested in 2020, who are in debt up to their necks, their debt service is going to double, if not triple. And they're going to file for bankruptcy. You're seeing the major tech companies are laying off people, are cutting back. That is going to ripple through. Those dominoes are going to fall, and it's going to take 6 months. So look for where they don't have a choice. And Europe right now doesn't have a choice. They've got to get off Vladimir's tit, okay? And he's got them by the short hairs, and that's got to change. Okay, that's how I approach investing. I look at the big picture and say, what's going to change? Who's going to facilitate the change? And where do I need to put my money? I'll talk to you more about this tomorrow.